Okay, thank you. Welcome other people as well. So, so yes, let's go back to our sort of grounding and centering meditation. And so find this place where you feel this connection with the Earth Mother. Imagine that, like the trees, you have deep roots into this earth. Feel the experience of the weightedness of your body. Let it drop and sink down into the chair or wherever you're sitting. And as we let ourselves come down into this embodied place of spirit, let yourself find the center of your being in the midst of everything that is happening within and around us. And that's our heart center. So feel the center of your chest and let yourself breathe into your heart. However that makes sense to you. It's a very powerful process of learning to breathe into and through our heart. It lowers our connection, it brings our center of gravity down to the heart instead of into the mind. And in our distracted reality, come back again and again to this place of the breath in your heart. Notice how it feels. How do you recognize that you are breathing and connecting to the center of yourself in your heart? How do you feel that? What is the sensation? What is the vibration that you feel? Deep in the body, at the very center of your being, in the space of the heart, is the space of humility. See if you can feel the vibration of humility in the depths of your core. And then through this channel, reaching out into the world, we have a place of calm that's in the etheric body of the heart. And moving out beyond that into the emotional body of your energy field. This is the space of compassion. See if you can notice the vibration of compassion. It's an energy, it's a state. It's an angel that lives within us. And beyond compassion, moving out into the mental body of the heart chakra, is a space of faith. It's also a vibration. It also has carried you very far in this lifetime. You may not know it directly, but it operates within us, allowing us to continue to move forward, to grow, and to accept everything here. And that's the sixth the next level of the spiritual body of the heart chakra, the space of surrender. So through humility, calm, compassion, faith, and surrender, we can walk in the heart of the divine consciousness. And of course, we're just now learning with training wheels how to hold this space. And it is from here that we can hold everything and allow our grief to turn into praise and joy, and to fully receive the blessings of everything here. And with that receiving of those blessings, our heart naturally opens in gratitude. So see if you can just return to your inner being and just trust that all of this is being integrated into your field, into your system. And you're strengthening that connection to live from your heart, which is how we can go forward into this world and perhaps bring the world forward with us. So with whatever is with you here and now, in your body, sensations of strain or tiredness, heaviness or restlessness, just go and be with the center of the discomfort in you now, any form that it's taking. And see if you can be with it in humility, in compassion, in faith, and acceptance. Breathe, and breathing into your heart, breathing into this space, calling this space into your heart. Breathing out the energies that feel difficult. Releasing, letting go, and then breathing back into the heart. The life force, qualities of compassion and faith. Breathe the vibration of the life force and light into any place that is lacking. The emptiness is there to become full. Give it permission to receive, even in the midst of duality. And taking one more deep breath fully in, calling light, receiving light. Let's gently come back into the circle and the gathering of all who is present. Welcoming all inside of you to be present here. Bringing yourself as you are. Let's now receive what we are all bringing to this circle. So one more quick thing before we do a little go around. I just want to name that, here on this medicine wheel of the seasons, we are in the direction of the west, the time of the fall, and sort of like at the very end of the fall going into the winter, the time of the last harvest. And the time in the fall is this time of harvesting, of separating the wheat from the shaft, of preparing the food for the feast and the stores for the winter, and saving the seed corn for the spring. And this is all metaphor as well of an inner kind of harvest that is being called forth in this time of the fall and in this day of Thanksgiving particularly. And that's this inner harvest, this harvest of experiences. And so as we are reaping this harvest of experiences, it's a time of introspection, of looking within. And again, we need to do this with love, with compassion, with acceptance, with understanding for ourselves and for others, for life, as best we can, to truly be able to explore and understand everything that is being taught in the school of life, in this harvest of experiences. So there's commitment and a devotion, a discipline to go all the way, to allow ourselves to be crucified and resurrected, embodied, love made real. So holding love and unity as the ultimate value you will die for no matter what. And of course we're all in that place of, wanting to die for it, and yet up against all of the places where that's most difficult. But see, what will you place on the altar of soul as sacrifice? It's everything that is not loved. So within you and around you, see if you can recognize those places that are still calling for love. And perhaps they've come to you as part of a theme for this year. So take a moment and go back and see what stands out for you in this year. It can be whatever you're grateful for, but it can also be something you are not yet feeling grateful for, that you're still grieving. So each of us is unique, and we're all working with a combination of vibratory forces. Each has a unique mission and a task of embodiment and learning. So see if you can do this review without self-recrimination or frustration. Where are you on your learning curve? It takes lots of practice to embody a new reality, to be this love. So where are you in your journey lately? And how is life helping you to be with this, to explore this, and to transform this? So go inside, review this year, Where were you last year at this time? And going forward, solstice, Christmas, holidays, New Year's, into the spring, summer, and now the fall. So I hope I'm not too confusing everybody, but it's opening for sharing now, and it's a very generalized place. Feel free to take a little time, and let's receive our circle and the year that each one has been with to learn from. I hope.
I think I can go. I'll admit, I'm in a holiday funk. Feel like I just want to skip the whole season. It's been a hard time lately. So, I think what I'm doing is on a day-to-day basis, I'm trying to avoid the sadness that I feel about my mother's situation. You know, she's in a memory care facility now, and she's really, her dementia is like jumping to whole new proportions. And it's just, there's just a sadness about that, you know? And I'm avoiding going to see her, I guess, because I don't want to feel that sadness that I feel when I witness her behavior. But then there's this feeling, these feelings of guilt inside of me that are like, you know, because I'm avoiding going to see her, I feel guilty that I'm not, you know, going. So it's like I'm trading one off for another, you know? It's like, to avoid the sadness, I'll try to process the guilt, but that's not working so well. And that's kind of got me in this big holiday funk where I don't even want to see the rest of my family. I skipped the Thanksgiving dinner. Didn't even go. That's like the first time in my entire life that I did that. So anyways, I don't know if that's the kind of sharing you were bargaining for, Darlene. There it is, you know?
And I just want to offer, even now, you know, Frank, just to see if you can be with that yourself, as we all are with you in great compassion.
I'm working on it. It's, you know, I'm working on it every day. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on? You know, you keep asking yourself the questions, or you keep trying to hold exactly what it is that's not right, you know? And it's just hard. It's hard.
And the holding the struggle, right? You know, holding the difficulty of this journey as human beings here, and the humility of the fact that, you know, it takes every part of us, every moment you know, every ounce of whatever we have that we brought, and to honor that even as you're in the depths of the struggle, right? In those squeezes and those difficult times.
Yeah. And I don't know if this, well, maybe to add just another factor to the situation, Mary, my significant other, for those of you who don't know, she went off to South America and won't be back until after Christmas. So, you know, of course, she was one of my mom's primary caretakers before we put her in this memory care facility last month. And she, I believe, well, she, you know, she admitted that she had reached a point of caretaker burnout and she needed to go back to her family in South America to kind of recuperate, you know? So I'm just communicating with her by text, but yeah, she's there for me. I can feel it, you know, and I'm there for her, you know, on her.
So there's the gratitude.
Yeah.
And to remember that side of things, since our mind is so focused always on the downside of things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. I think I'd like to share following Frank. Of course, I say that without having myself organized. What I'm noticing probably in the last year is a more clear view of the energy and power behind my idealized self. Some people call it the superego. You know how, you know, it exists as like a structure, like an electric fence that, you know, periodically I touch up against, and I'm shocked, you know, and it seems to be all around how people see me, fear around if they only knew. There's a lot of anxiety around questions of who I am with this part of me that's so relentless. And I've struggled with it, you know, mightily. It's, you know, trying to allow myself to feel the just the sheer negativity of what it seems to be about. And I am beginning to kind of like finally make sense of it. For the longest time, it's like, just feel, just feel, just feel. But there's an aspect of mind that's required, it turns out, at least in my case, where looking in deeper as to what this idealized self is saying to me, I'm beginning to, in a soft kind of way, see the absurdity of what it's about. It's just pure defense. It's just afraid. And I sometimes find myself, I suppose you could call it compassion. I think mostly at this point it's relief in knowing that, you know, this is just an aspect of me that's, you know, certainly well and deeply ingrained, but it is just a part of me that, for lack of a better word, is temporary. You know, in relation to my spirit, in relation to, you know, what I am, who I am. And there's some kind of, there's relief. And I suppose relief is maybe a far cousin to gratitude, where it's like, oh, wow. So it's as big a bully as this aspect of me is, it's perhaps it's a paper tiger. You know, as much energy as it commands within me, maybe there's an end to it, or at least a lessening of it. And it's I'm in this place where I'm realizing how pervasive and far, you know, how pervasive it is in my life and in me. And that sometimes, you know, kind of scares the shit out of me, because it's kind of like, God, I have to admit, I often become identified with it. And then it's very difficult falling down into that hole. But I'm starting to see, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm very grateful. You know, it's getting back to what you said, Darlene, about separating the wheat from the chaff. You know, I feel like I'm separating what's the truth about me, the real truth, and I am grateful for that. So I guess I'll just stop there.
Thank you. This, I love that you identified this as fear as well. So you might look at it as a frightened child outside of its sort of bullying energy, right? Underneath is that terrified child. Might be easier to hold from there.
Yeah, and that's definitely its source. You know, just a little more. Over my years in the Pathwork, you know, that conceptual idea of the inner child, and, you know, the idea of abandonment, the feelings of abandonment, you know, that sense of being thrown away, almost discarded, left, forsaken, all those words. You know, it's this, I always saw it as a relationship between my parents and I, but now I realize that I have opted in to that. You know, there's an aspect of me now that's, oh, you're, you know, as long as you have these dark, horrible feelings, you're worthless. You can't have what other people have. And, you know, it separates me. The fact that I'm here today is a sure sign that I'm kind of seeing through it all, because I think ultimately it's my connection with groups, in groups like this, that's my salvation.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
Who else? People are welcome to check in, shorter or longer, however they feel. Just love to hear your voice.
I can go. I'm Chris in Charlottesville, and I am feeling grateful this morning. I've gosh, as you were inviting us to look at the year, gosh, a lot has happened I hadn't been thinking about. A year ago, my husband was just recovering from surgery, and it's kind of a tough time, and been tough times with our relationship. And as you hear me say, there's always some challenges with my daughter. This morning, I've been working on making a commitment to be more disciplined about my spiritual practice. And so this morning was my first morning of really, I really find the Course in Miracles to be really inspiring for me. And so I began my first morning of what I intend to be more concerted study. And I just can feel this sort of mild light element of more peace inside. And I'm grateful. I've really had a marvelous visit with my almost 3-year-old grandson last night on video. I'll see him soon at Christmas. And one of the highlights of the visit, I have a family of chimpanzees, and I had, daddy chimpanzee and mama chimpanzee with baby on her back, and then there's big brother chimpanzee, and then my grandson Julian says, "And where's grandma chimpanzee?" So that just made my visit going, okay, I have to get a grandma. It just made me feel like I'm in. I'm really his family. So that was really, I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, and my husband and I had a sweet, quiet Thanksgiving day, and so I'm feeling grateful to be here and with everyone who's spoken. My heart's here.
I'll share.
Welcome, Kia.
I'm here for the first time. I've been getting the emails for a long time, and today was the day that it actually worked out for me to hop on, and of course very, very timely. So thank you for the space. And over the past let's say 6 months, I've been on 2 sort of parallel paths, and at times they kind of bump into each other and volley for attention. And at those times, I feel like I'm called to make a choice. Which path do I continue on? And in the meditation, I felt a big softening. And as Chris was saying, I actually today just kind of opened up Course in Miracles again as well. So a lot of softening coming in with that, and then found this place where I guess in one of the paths especially, there's been sort of this doing and feeling like, oh, I need to like progress, I need to show myself as something. And I realized that, oh, actually, I don't have to do that right now. The season doesn't really support it. And there was a big sense of relief that came in with that. So just getting that little sense of clarity was really nice.
Welcome. Do you want to say a little more, Kai? Is that your name, Kai? Yeah.
Yep.
And where you're from, and just welcome you newly to our group.
Thank you. I was when I connected with Seven Oaks. I was in Virginia. I was at Smith Mountain Lake. We were there for about 2 years in the house that my grandparents built. So there was a lot of like generational stuff coming through. And back in April, my children and I moved back to Estonia, where my family is originally from. So connecting from Europe.
Wow.
This evening here. I have three girls, and they're 16, 14, and 6. And I am actually I'm studying breathwork and source process with Binny Dansby currently in Estonia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for.
Yeah, thank you for holding the space.
Darlene, I did not know that you were going to be hosting this, and it was just such a delight when I realized that as I got on. So it's such a pleasure to see you.
You too.
Yeah, so in the past year, it really goes beyond years and years. But I have become more gentle with my awareness of numbness. It was actually when I was doing path work that I realized that I could be in the most beautiful, luxurious place in the world, and I was just numb. I was not absorbing it. And, in my mind, it's like I should be just luxuriating in this. And as time has gone on, I've realized that under that numbness, there's anger, rage, dissatisfaction, demands. And then under that is so much fear and sadness. And it's been interesting, just the evolution. But especially this last year, I've been much more gentle and curious when the numbness comes up, instead of getting busy, finding a project, doing other things, just sitting with it and not really asking anything beyond, what do you want to share at this time? What can I do to help you? And then the other things percolate up that I've just mentioned. About 2 days ago, I received this beautiful message, and I'm sure I've had it before, but it's just really settled in my body and my mind, and it feels like such a healing balm. And the message was, God owes me nothing. And I realized all these demands that I've placed on the world, myself, God, this should be happening. And to just sit with the phrase, God owes me nothing, is so big. It extends to, my children owe me nothing. My parents owe me nothing. I don't owe myself anything beyond my healing process, and I don't even owe that. I don't know if I'm really articulating this well, but it's a really blissful state, and I look forward to it becoming deeper. I know the waves, the ups and downs, but I look forward to that truth becoming more real for me, that nobody owes me anything, and I can just start letting go of the demands.
Beautiful. I like that. I'm going to take it on myself. It's a win for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go. This past year for me, I've lost my dad in January. So that cycle of grief and loss, especially after losing my mom also. So just kind of filtering through that. The numbness is real. I relate to that. And like discovery it's on me to overcome it. And it's such a process. So Just kind of full circle. Didn't go to my Thanksgiving either. I went and visited my daughter. That was partly why, but didn't want to. And I had a great time with my daughter, but a little bit of avoidance just so I don't have to feel it, I guess. But getting through it.
I think I discovered this quote that came from Sage Walker. You know, I was listening to her Pathwork International Conference program, and she's, you know, quoting a book, something. I don't want to look it up right now, but anyway, you know, the gist of it is that, you know, this grief that we're carrying, you know, is part of the work of gratitude, right? And it's like we can't get past it. We have to sort of find the way through it, into and with it, you know, to actually transform it into praise. And I find that, you know, like the guide in one of the lectures says that there's this one feeling that we have the most difficulty feeling, that kind of creates this wall against feeling in general. And I believe that that feeling is grief. So I totally understand, you know, the desire to run from that, to fight with that, to avoid that. And am also in this journey of, you know, well, how do you turn it back into praise? But I believe that there's a possibility, so I'm going to work it. Thank you. Anything more?
Just that it takes time, I know, and just you have to just flow through it, and feel sad, feel okay with it, feel all those things. Just have to embrace it, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Jen. I'm having technical difficulties. So anyway, I'll just talk. I'm live near Annapolis, Maryland, and I'm just feeling so grateful for that through the path work, that I have some objectivity in my life, that I was very inspired by Dan's sharing, just the fact that we have an above average ability to observe ourselves, and that we have tools to help us watch ourselves and grow and learn. I'm just feeling so very grateful for that right now. So.
Exactly. The guide, there's a lecture on you know, this process of growth that is I think such a blessing. So I'm with you. I'm grateful for the capacity to grow. So I don't know that everybody shared, but not everybody has to. I'm gonna leave it open for a minute more and see if anybody else wants to join in.
I'll share. So mostly I'll take the theme of relationships. And I've been like, as soon as I saw how I had created imbalance in my relationships with friends, I moved sort of away from that group of friends. So over the over the year, I've sort of developed going to build new relationships with people. It took courage for me to go to places and try knowing myself a little better with different people. And then I also went back to some older friends too. And I still feel guilty about, which I noticed, during this call, of with some of the old friends who were dear friends, but it was like unbalanced. So I feel guilty about that. And the other thing is, just before the call, my husband bumped into somebody that I'm on a board with, and he worked with him. And so they saw each other, and the man had said, is Esther okay? She wasn't at the last board meeting. And so I found myself, like I'm leaving the board. So then I'm grateful because he expressed to my husband how he had liked that I was on the board. But so then I started questioning, like, why am I leaving? Because I've been on this board a long time. But I also realized that that was the reason why, and it's not really, some of the other things are there, where I was, did I want to run away from the difficult people on the board? Yes. Like if I get teased, I feel like I'm teased or taunted, it hits a child place. So, that was some of the reason.
Right.
But I didn't want to explain that to anybody else. So I'm just getting in touch with that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for it. I feel much more open over this past years as well. Like it was nice going to that heart space and finding that and living from there, which is more receiving. So that's my prime goal now, is to receive. I did it at Thanksgiving with family. And I skipped a Thanksgiving too, Frank, many years ago. And, I did it because I was so scared, to be different from what my siblings felt I should be like, that I just decided to do that, but it didn't change anything, from that. But it was a good experience to do, I guess. And just being open to knowing that anything I don't like feeling is going on in me, that is not coming from others. So it may be coming from others, but I wouldn't know it if I didn't have it in me. It wouldn't bother me. So it's, in essence, it's in me. So I just accept it. And then I say, okay, you don't like, I don't know, you don't like my body or something right now, because I'm just slightly overweight, and I don't like my body, and I love that I don't like my body. Okay.
I like that your introspection, is like questioning all of these different responses within yourself, right? And I think that's where we really do begin to see and receive some guidance and deeper understanding and answers to these things, instead of just the rhetorical, initial response of the mind, to be curious. So good for you.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm grateful for Pathwork and that. Thank you.
So I'm noticing it's almost noon, and I'm trying to remember even, how long do we go for this call? Is it till 12:30? Is that right?
Yes, 12:30.
Thank you.
I'll share. I've had a hard time thinking about what to share, actually, because there's just been so many things that have gone on recently. But one of the biggest ones is that I've had an experience that seems like it could be some kind of a recreation from maybe another lifetime or something. What it feels like is being surrounded by a group of people who are all saying, "She's a witch, she's a witch." And I mean, this is really pretty much literally happening to me right now, where a group of people have ganged up on me and are, I mean, I know this sounds dramatic, but trying to destroy me. And I guess the good part of this is I know I'm handling it much better than I would have in the past. But and I've asked, well, what have I done? I know in Pathwork, we always ask, how did I create this? I honestly have no clue. I can't think of anything I've done in this lifetime that would have justified being treated like this. But possibly some other lifetime. Maybe I was one of those people in the 1600s who was saying, she's a witch, she's a witch. We need to burn her at the stake. Maybe this is my karmic payback. And go ahead.
I just wanted to see if maybe reframing it also, because, oftentimes we think of, well, why is this happening to me? I must have done something, or I've, and yet I think it's really a bigger understanding in some ways. So like
how?
There's some way in which this is a dynamic that feels familiar, or somehow is being introduced maybe for the first time to your spirit, right? And it's kind of like the puzzle on the blackboard, and we don't understand. It's the mystery. Where does this come from, or how am I manifesting this? And so that's to deal with the feeling of the feelings, to deepen into the experience, to try to discover a response that is love, right, for our enemies. And this is where I think the world is trying to help us go. And so we have to keep meeting our enemies and meeting our enemies and meeting our enemies until we can find a way to, find that love as well. And they're internal enemies and external enemies as well.
Right.
So
I say pretty much right now, I don't love them.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Hard to get there. I get it. Yeah.
But it's, I mean, in terms of a recreation, it could be actually something sort of from my childhood. Because I was thrown out of the house by my parents when I was still in high school.
Mm.
And I was blamed for the death of my sister.
Right.
And I experienced at the age of 17 what it was like to have a whole group of people basically saying she's to blame.
Right.
And
so
she's
good.
bad and we need to get rid of her. We need to throw her out of the house. And I mean, that kind of demonization had already been going on for most of my life, honestly. But that kind of brought it to a head, and in a way, for me, it was a good thing, because the faster I got out of that house, the better it was for me. But I'm not sure exactly. I know that I don't know why this is happening to me, but it has a kind of a bright side, which is that a friend of mine has turned out, an attorney friend of mine has turned out to be an absolute angel, and has literally put in thousands of hours of his own unpaid time to try to basically save me from this situation, from this crucifixion. And I said to a friend recently, he's really like an angel. And she said, you seem to attract those people, but it's so I'm kind of holding both these things that I can see. I feel like I'm coming face to face with evil in a way that I've never seen it before. I mean, real evil, people that I have gone out of my way for to help, who are trying to destroy me. And then on the other hand, I have my friend Joe, who has, for no reason, wanting nothing back from me at all, just wants to help the situation, and has literally put in thousands of hours to do so of unpaid time. And he's made a big difference. So it's, that's kind of where I am right now.
Thanks. Sounds like the world in many ways.
I'm Suzanne. I'll be brief, Darlene. I am really moved by what people are saying and dealing with. This year, I have embarked on several new things, which was my goal for the year. And one of them is to volunteer at a horse rescue. And that has been so wonderful because the horses know, if we're not confident and grounded and calm, the horses know that. And so it's really for safety's sake, if nothing else. It's really important to be noticing what's going on, looking at body language, watching my own body language. So anyway, I've embarked on not just helping at the rescue, but learning more about horses, which has just been great. Because it's a lot about, in many ways, it's about knowing yourself and getting shit out of the way so you can be effective with the horses. So that's one thing. The other thing is I have a friend who's an ex-partner who has a kind of dementia that's not diagnosed, but who is struggling. Well, she's not struggling, but everybody around her is, with figuring out how to help. Is she safe and things like that. She still lives on her own. And I see her once a week, in part because we had a dog, 2 dogs, and she has one of them that has cancer. And so I'm like just kind of checking in also to make sure the dog's okay. But I think what I wanted to say is just that sadness. It's a sadness or a grief and a powerlessness when somebody that you love, that I love, is not going to get better. It's probably going to get worse. And I'm not so good at being around her sometimes. I'm not so good with being asked 5 times something I've already said, explained. There's a lot of anxiety, she has a lot of anxiety, and it's not just the memory, it's the anxiety about life. And I'm not so good at it sometimes. So I do want to stay away sometimes. I do want to not go and help out. I help out with financial things. I'm helping out with daily life, almost kinds of things. So this year, I really wanted to do something that was for me, and going to the horses is really for me. And I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and thank you, Darlene, for doing this, and for everybody for coming. Thanks.
Thanks, Suzanne. Saida, you want to join in? I think you're the last one left now.
Yeah, I also think I'm the last one. Well, I'm Saida and I'm connecting from Denmark. And I feel kind of quiet today. And with that, very much confident, like confident. Confident in what I'm actually experiencing. It's like I'm accepting this state of being, like being quiet, and this is not like, I've noticed that this is not a false sense of confidence. Like it's not like I'm actually grabbing for something to achieve. And this is like I really feel this difference as being confident. It's like for me, it feels like being in truth. So I guess that's why I feel kind of open and very much relaxed and quiet. Also, I'm aware of that it can change because this too shall pass. And it's just I don't know, like really I feel quiet and still, like, and it's for me it's kind of new, like new experience, I would say. So, and I'm being very thankful for that also. Just not noticing that I'm actually, yeah, it's not like scary. It's yeah, it's being grateful for my experience. So
Beautiful. Yeah. And so that the gratitude for that place that's really always within us, right? At some level for everybody maybe to drop in, you know, it's like, and it is a blessing, a grace, maybe when it's really present in us. And that, I believe, is maybe where we're also heading in our evolutionary journey. But just to, you know, really know that it's within each of us, that same place. So, and thank you, everybody. I'm appreciative of the, you know, taking a longer time to connect and share and all of that. We'll see how far we go into this, and I may check in and see if people want to run over a little, but I think we got a few more things to go, so let's journey on. And I think part of what this is bringing up for me, you know, is this place of, you know, gratitude again for this universal principle of dynamic growth, right? You know, that the guide talks about in lecture 179. I just recently reread that lecture. It has a lot of good stuff if anybody wants to check it out. And then, yeah, gratitude for this group and all groups who are finding ways to continue to work with each other. And I've also gone through, you know, like a strong year, but feel like in the long run, that principle of growth is in operation. And I think our task really is, you know, really learning to master these seas of life, not by controlling or striving for perfection, but by learning to dance with them and following the currents and eddies and accepting sort of this long arc of time. By the end of, you know, this more than a year, more than a lifetime. And now it seems that it's an end of a vast era and that we are its witnesses. And individually and collectively, that hopefully as we let go of materialism, separation, lies and confusion, which the guide says are the main principles of evil on this planet. And as we confront our own little lower selves, our pride, our self-will, and our fear. And again, The guide says confront, or we've used that language forever in Pathwork, but I actually, as I was reading it, was thinking, no, let's embrace our self-will and fear in a way that this higher self that we're grounding into our being as the truth of our real being, is activated, being really, I think, increased as these divine influxes are coming in and as the shaking is going on. So we also have to open to the unknown and the planetary vulnerability and the beauty and an incredible amount of loss as we're aging, as this planet as a system is coming, I believe, to a conclusion in some way. It's definitely not only the fall of this year, but a fall of an era. So as we encounter this part of the journey, we also want to open to the universal gifts within each of us and connect to your heart and your center, again, in that space of humility, compassion, faith, and surrender. So these are the vibrations of divine light that are within us, an integral part of our own nature. And so calling all those angelic beings of light within and around us to draw near, to draw near, to draw near in this time, in this night. We're really in the darkest part of the season, right before winter solstice and the return of the light. So hold us in your wings of light and illuminate this time. I want to read something from the Pathwork Guide that I found that I think is also relevant to our time right now. So he says, and this is from Privacy and Secrecy lecture, compassion and love, gratitude for the beauty of creation, appreciation of and joy about it must also create a deep pain when something is destroyed, a pain that needs to be felt. Compassion and love, gratitude for the beauty of creation, appreciation of and joy about it must create a deep pain within when something is destroyed, a pain that needs to be suffered. This pain is ever so different from the neurotic pain, the pain by association, the pain that identifies with what appears to be a victim. This living, healthy, loving pain is also the threshold to joy and ecstasy. It is a grieving pain about the destruction caused by evil. It is healthy and good to allow this state to grow in you, to experience it fully, to manifest. It manifests in different ways. And the most aware of your vulnerability you become, the more you will experience this very healthy pain. You may feel pain when you see God's gifts in nature willfully destroyed. You may feel pain about the suffering on this plane of existence. So moving grief into gratitude, swords into plowshares. And for me, I don't know, a lot of times in my grief, I turn to anger, I turn to hate. So that's a part of my journey right now. And we're not done grieving until it becomes praise. So my grief often leads to these acts of war. And my search is, how can we be compassionate in our grief? Not only for ourselves, but also for the enemy. And so in asking this question in this prayer that I was making, I again came across Sage Walker's sharing in the international conference. And she has created her own prayer to send light to, the negativity and the darkness. So we need to come together and make our commitment to the future calling from within and around us the spirit of peace. And see what is your prayer for your enemy at this time, and to kind of align with our own deeper and deepening understanding that any act of war from within us is a furthering of the acts of war that are happening in our world on so many levels, against nature, against each other. So as we tune in, allow yourself to receive the blessings of this life and of what you have received in this journey. I was looking, actually, I thought I had Sage's prayer here, but I wasn't finding it, so let me see if I can. Here it is. Okay. So see if we can align in this and share it. I think it's a beautiful thing also. And you can tune in, your enemy may be your idealized self-image, or it may be, from outside and all around you. It may be your fears instead of your faith, these kinds of things. But whatever those enemies are, and whatever it is that triggers you to go, instead of from grief into praise, that you go from grief into rage or outrage or, attack, then we can offer this prayer. May you, my enemy, always remain safe from my evil, protected by your right to be loved no matter what. May the angels of mercy wrap their wings around you to ward off the slings and arrows wanting to cause you harm. I can feel in myself when I get to that place, where I want to hurt, I want to annihilate. May you be protected from that one in me who would rather kill you than die to the soft pain of my own heart's troubles. May you be safe from my blame. May I have the courage to see you as my mirror, so I stop throwing cruelties and sharp stones hurled at you to keep me from seeing within myself that which I would rather remain blind to. May you find in the moments of my attack the presence of a Savior, one who asked the mob for the one without sin to be the first to cast their stone. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. May that Christed being be present, insisting that I love you as I wish to be loved. Thank you for being my mirror, my agony in the garden, my crucifixion, death, and resurrection into becoming the love I am, no matter what. So I have a couple of pieces of poem as well here that I just want to offer. But the one is actually in a video, so I'm thinking I might just share that and then we'll do our closing. So let me see if we can share screen again. Takes me a little while with my ADD to remember what the heck I'm where I'm going, so apologies for I think we got it now. So this is one of my favorite prayers for grace or recognition. And one of the things that I, wanted to share also is that I ran across in preparing for this a very interesting little suggestion that when we think of our gratitude, to, look at it also in terms of the word appreciation. And so I don't know if you want to take a minute now and just, go in and think of some things that you're grateful for that you would ordinarily put in the category of gratitude, and just switch that word inside to appreciation. And notice, how does that feel different? I find I kind of going back and forth because they have different senses, but they are, as Dan said, kind of cousins to each other. They're real, real connected. And I find that sometimes when I use appreciation, there's a different involvement in my being than when I use the word gratitude. So just tune in as that for you as we go through this beautiful song of gratitude for the mystery.
Darlene, is there supposed to be a soundtrack? Because we're not getting any audio.
Sorry, did somebody say something?
Yeah, I was wondering if there was supposed to be audio because I'm not hearing.
Yeah, you're not getting any audio? Okay.
Was anybody else getting audio?
I
No.
didn't hear anything.
All right, let me try again.
To the day it moves the planets and the stars in the sky. It's been the mover of mountains since the beginning.
So, can you hear it now?
Yeah, hear it now.
Okay,
So we don't see the picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up and see if we can start this again. Sorry, technical things. Let's see if we can. How do we get both? Let's see. Can you are we getting it now?
No.
No music still, huh? Okay.
Suzanne, you might need to go to that tab.
Well, that's where I was, and it's kind of like I can't seem to do both. I can't seem to do the video and the picture, which it never did have a problem with that before, but of course, navigating on these things is always a challenge for me. Let me just go ahead.
If you go to the advanced tab and uncheck, you might have checked music only.
Okay, well, let me see if that's going to work.
And then go back and play the video. It might work.
All right, let's see. I think I have to stop the share again. So when I do the video share, I'm going to try to optimize for video clip and see if that works. Okay, that might do it. Let's try one more time. If not, we'll...
I hear it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the sea of a tree as it grows, hear it if you listen to the wind as it blows. Stand in a river as it flows into the sea. It's a sound in the soul of a man becoming free, and it lives in the laughter of children play, and in the blazing sun that gives light to the day. It moves the planets and the stars in the sky. It's been a mover of mountains since the beginning of time. listen deep inside, I feel best of all, like a moon that's glowing white, and I listen to your call, and I know you will guide me. I feel like the time rushing through the ocean of my heart. It's open wide. Oh, mystery, you are alive. I feel you all around. You are the fire in my heart. You are the holy sound. You are all of life. It is to you that I sing. Grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, grant that I may feel you always in everything. Oh, mystery.
So aligning with that, feeling that mystery and unifying the war and the unification of the dualities and the opposites feels to me like sort of this vast thing that we're holding this Thanksgiving. And so I want to just take a moment maybe to send some prayers to the world, for all of the suffering, the confusion, the loss, the war, the catastrophes for nature that are going on. And just in our hearts, hold a place of grief, as the guide says, for the losses, for the difficulties, but to allow also this understanding and this faith and this compassion and this place of humility to hold the whole earth and ourselves and everything in it as we pass through these times, and to open our hearts, even if the times are nearing the end, right? Let us praise our Mother and our Father. Let's find the blessings in every moment that is here for us now. So I guess we're past our time to end a little, but I'm open if anybody wants to just say anything in closure here before we. And I guess we usually have a hangout space too afterwards, so we can go for
Right.
that.
I was wondering about the coffee and donuts.
Yeah, definitely we can continue there. So somebody had requested to put that link up here, so let me see if I can get it back. Shoot. I just managed to make a whole mess. So maybe I can have Brian send that link. Try one more thing here.
or even if you just say what it's called, it can probably find it by searching on.
Yeah, it's Oh Mystery, and it's a Paul Winter. I think I've got this thing now. Sorry, I feel I need somebody that can help me with all of this stuff. I'm not very good with all of the computer stuff. So now where is the thing that I put I don't even see where I can share.
Go to chat.
Where is the chat?
Down on the bottom, just to the right of participants. How it looks on my screen.
Ah, it says Q&A. I would never have seen that as a chat. Okay, so now doesn't give me any place to post though. Open. Weird.
Did you click on Q&A? Because
Yeah,
on my screen, chat is next to Q&A.
it's next to Q&A. That's weird.
My screen doesn't even have Q&A. Just
I gotta run, folks. It was nice to see you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
See you, Frank.
Here, Frank.
Good to see you.
Hugs to you, Frank.
So let's continue actually to try to find and post that chat in our little hangout time. And anybody else want to complete or help us, close our time together?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Darlene, I remember when I was in TP, I came across a lecture that had some great words of wisdom about gratitude. I have not been able to find it. I'm just wondering if a lecture in particular comes to mind about that.
Actually, no, I was kind of searching too and didn't run across anything, but I will look again. So, there are some things on both the Mid-Atlantic or at the Pathwork, international site where you can search a term. So you might try gratitude and see if anything comes up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would be great to have too. Maybe we can add it to our response. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Yeah, anybody that needs to go, say goodbye, and we will see you in a month and join again in our new year. So, or I guess at the end of the year in December. So, love to everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love your hair, Sheila.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
yes, thank you. I will see you in January. I will not be here in December.
So great. So, is this who's left for our coffee and tea? And donuts? I still am not able to. I don't know what happened to my chat thing on my bottom stuff.
So you don't see it between share screen and Q&A?
I have Q&A and share screen and nothing in between.
Isn't that weird?
I know. And summary, AI companion, reactions, apps, whiteboards, notes.
Huh.
And then
It's gotten more complicated as time has gone on.
oh, here it's up in this thing. Yeah, I know. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay. No, that's still not it.
Or maybe you could text it to Dan and he could post it.
Yeah, or email it.
Yeah, I can email it. For sure. So
So I show the last Sunday in December is the 31st, which is New Year's Eve.